Hello, my friends. I want to give you guys a couple of the main reasons I see why people have backwards progress, because this can be a big concern for those in recovery. And there are some very distinct and practical, easy to explain reasons why this happens. So, the first one is one of the biggest ones that I see. So, in terms of healing, what healing is putting things back together. So when we have limbic system impairment, when we have any kind of dysfunction, we are inherently separated from ourselves. And when we are in recovery, what we're doing is we are healing. And when I think of healing, this is what I think of. Things coming back together. But a lot of us, we're healing up here. We start working on, our pop loops and our thought patterns and all of this, and we're working up here, but the split is not up there. So when we have backwards progress, what that is life saying, oh, you want to heal? Okay, well, you need to go down here and start at the bottom and heal the foundation of where the split actually occurred first. And that can feel like backwards progress, where things get quite a bit worse before they start to get better. And there, if you look at this from a Carl Jung or a psychology personality type of perspective, the human person is very big and broad and wide. And so our limbic activity will, in the beautiful wisdom of trauma, push us into a place where we actually have to address where the split happened. This is really common. So that's the first reason. The second one is focusing on outcomes instead of needs. And what I mean by that is we focus on all of our symptoms, we focus on how much we can do, we focus on, how good our day was or how good it felt or how comfortable we are or not. And instead of focusing on what do I need right now? What are the patterns that I'm rewiring? What input do what's the pattern that's happening, and what pattern do I want to have, and how am I inputting that pattern? And focusing on, do I need calm? What experiences do I need to have to feel regulated and calm? So part of it is subtraction. You've got thought patterns and behavioral patterns where if those are continuously happening, if we're allowing ourselves to focus on symptoms or think about negative things or live in the future, we're going to feel anxious. We're going to feel not safe. That's given. So if we have those patterns happening, part of meeting your needs is working on pruning those patterns and replacing them with being in the present moment, focusing on the positive. Focusing on what you can control instead of what you can't. That building trust with yourself, that sort of thing. And again, as we go through this process, trust that there is an inherent wisdom to the process of healing. So if you're going in what seems like a backwards direction, there is a reason for it. And even if you don't know where it's taking you right now, you'll get there, you'll figure it out. So that's a big one because, a lot of times we focus on capacities and outcomes instead of giving ourselves what we truly need. Oh, and then the other side, so that's the pruning side. So positive side is, what experiences do I need to have? Do I need to experience connection? Do I need to experience nature? Do I need to experience really peaceful, relaxing things? Do I need to go back to a time where I feel almost like I'm in the womb again, where I just do a lot of warm, water-based, really soothing and calming visualizations? Really ask yourself what you need. There's so many things. We as human beings, just like with food, we need a variety of experiences to feel regulated and to be fed. And that's really all recovery is meeting our needs. It's the relationship to yourself. So focus on meeting your needs and know that when your needs are met, everything else will fall into place. That's key. If we're still looking back to see what the limbic system's doing, we're focusing on something we can't control, because we never control what the limbic system is doing. How it responds is not up to us. It's how we respond to it that determines the entire, that is your recovery, how you respond to your limbic system. So that's the second one. The third one is trauma and grief surfacing, which happens, that's actually a positive shift. There is a level of safety we must have in order for trauma and grief to surface. So if you're feeling stuck, that may be something that's coming up. If you feel like you're having old memories or flashbacks, or you're having grief. And again, this is very different than early recovery, where the limbic system will just want to keep us in a trauma loop and experiencing a feeling of loss and grief all the time as a pop. This is usually a year or later that this stuff starts to come up, where it's actually real and needs to be addressed. But that's an area where you can have made a lot of progress and then be having grief or trauma coming up, and that can really, it can take some time. As you work through that, it can be very activating, and then you could need to reestablish a baseline of calm after you work through trauma and grief. So that's the third one. The last one is, and this is another one I see a lot, is that a lot of the people that I work with use DNRS, and DNRS does not address the nervous system aspect, only the brain and brain pattern aspect, but not the nervous system. And if we leave the nervous system out of the picture, we are neglecting one of the biggest drivers of health. And so that's not something I'm going to go super in depth with right now, but if we're not addressing the nervous system aspect of healing from limbic system impairment and recovering from chronic illness, you are going to be quite stuck. I can guarantee you that. And oftentimes people can make backward progress because they think they're trying to work on an association, and what they actually need is to establish safety in the nervous system, which is a very different practice than just rewiring a cross-wired association. So that's the last reason that I see quite often for why people make backward progress. So hopefully you can identify yourself in these patterns and find your way forward. I'm always here if you need me, and there's lots of resources out there, but hopefully this helps to clear that up so you don't feel lost or despairing or confused if you are seemingly going in the wrong direction. But there's always a wisdom to it. Know that. The world is a very wise place. Life has a plan for you in your journey, so trust that. All right. Much love, my friends.